Hi everyone, I'm Colleen and this is Nate. We're Navigate with Colleen and Nate, where we share our travel adventures. We are a couple who love to travel, explore new places, and have fun along the way. Join us as we show you the best spots, where to eat, and tips and tricks for your next vacation. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified when we upload new videos. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to navigate your world. Good evening, navigators.
Good evening.
So today is the end of day 2. So we had a wonderful day in Key West, and right now, as you can tell, we are dressed up.
This is our second installment for this trip of Navigate the Plate, which is something new we're trying. We have no idea if it's gonna work out at all, but tonight we have something very special.
We are going to Daniel Boulud's Chef's Table on Celebrity Apex. So we are very excited for this experience. It is, from what we understand, a little bit more formal attire. So we're excited to get a little dressed up and have a lovely dinner.
Yeah, so a couple things to note about this. First of all, they only do 1, maybe 2 of these per sailing, and it's really dependent upon demand. So if there's a lot of demand, they might add a second one. A little less demand, they'll only have 1. The thing is you don't really get to pick the day or the time that they do this, which was one thing, I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's a downside, but for us it was kind of like, we just had this big long day in Key West. We would have preferred it to also coincide with like the chic night, right? Because we're gonna be all dressed up and not, everyone else kind of like resort casual. That's fine. I mean, we're not worried about that per se. But if that's something that you're not really a big fan of, I don't know, maybe it's not for you. If you're really like, I wanna eat when I wanna eat. But we're going in with open mind, and where do we have to go?
We are going to Fine Cut Steakhouse,
Yep.
And that's where we're meeting. And it's actually just a very, very small group of individuals. So 5 couples, 10 people max. So for this, we're not gonna take our fancy big camera with us, just to be respectful of everyone's dining experience. We don't wanna be intrusive. So we're gonna probably do some filming just on our camera phones and probably do voiceovers once we get home.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different filming tonight, and again, hopefully it goes well and you enjoy the experience and you get a feel for it. I think we're actually starting the night at, what's the cafe place?
Cafe El Bacchio.
El Bacchio, so they're having some type of greet and meet there first, and then...
We think we're doing a tour of the kitchen area.
We're not sure.
Yep, we're not sure. So stay tuned, we'll see. We're not sure if we can film in there. So it's gonna be a surprise.
And we're not sure if Colleen can go in there either, so it's all surprises. So this is the Chef's Table on Celebrity Apex.
All right, so we start off with this lovely little mousse bouche here, a little champagne tasting down at Cafe El Bacchio. And then we made our way up to the Fine Cut Steakhouse, where they had a lovely table set up for us. And here's a little sneak peek at the menu there. Very nice. So for this first dish, this was a curried cauliflower soup with saffron and apples. It was actually really, really tasty. I think this was one of the ones we really enjoyed. We followed that by a mushroom risotto with some aged Parmesan, followed by the sea bass with za'atar. That's fennel, sweet pepper, lemon, tomato vinaigrette. It was very, very tasty. We really enjoyed. Of course, you cannot have a chef's table without a duo of beef fillet and short rib. This came with root vegetables and mushroom with a red wine sauce as well too. Very, very, very tasty. And then we finished the evening with a Java cake, which was really tasty. It was a Java Grand Cru with a Sumatra coffee cremeux and a chocolate Berno spice ice cream. I'm probably saying that all wrong, but it was really, really good. And then we also had this happy anniversary cake because it was our anniversary and another couple's anniversary.
As you just saw, we just wrapped up our dinner at the Chef's Table. It's the next morning, so if you're wondering why we look a little bit more casual, it's the next morning. We thought we would just take some time to talk to y'all.
Yeah, so today we want to give you our full and honest review of Daniel Boulud's Chef's Table. Last night, just to kind of recap, we met at Cafe El Bacchio, had a toast, and then was escorted over to Fine Cut Steakhouse where we enjoyed our meal. So what was your take, Nate, from start to finish? Maybe let's first talk about meeting at 6:30 at Cafe El Bacchio.
So a couple things that kind of struck me right away is, first of all, like, what is the dress code for this event, right? So I actually double checked, And in the app, it says it's evening wear. Now, we talked a little bit about this. We were a little conflicted because 2 chic nights on board Celebrity, and that's typically when people get more dressed up. So we were a little worried that we would be overdressed. I think we were right about that.
I think we're, I wouldn't say significantly overdressed. I think we felt comfortable, but
We were in evening wear. So
Yes.
you had a lovely dress on, you saw that. I had my nice suit on. You don't need to wear a tie on Celebrity, that's not a thing. You can if you want, but that's not a thing. But it was definitely said evening attire in the app, but everyone was kind of resort casual. So that was the first thing that, again, it wasn't a huge deal, but you like to I don't know, I like to dress how everyone else is dressed.
one of the things that I noticed is the card that was delivered to our stateroom said to meet at Cafe El Bacchio at 6:30. So Nate and I are pretty prompt individuals, so we actually showed up around 6:15. It was completely dead. We were expecting maybe someone to greet us, be there, and in fact, I don't think anyone showed until probably 6:35, 6:40.
No, it was like 6:45.
Yeah.
Again, to give you kind of an idea of the pricing on this, it's an extra, I checked right now, like for our next sailing that we have coming up, it's an extra $130 per person. We paid almost, I actually looked back at the bill, I think we paid almost $300 this time around. Now, we did have a onboard credit which offset that. That's why we decided to do this.
It's an expensive event. Not that I expect to have it be like overly stuffy, but I think just having someone there to meet us when we arrive. The next thing that I noticed is the description of the event included a tour of the kitchen area.
The galley.
The galley, yes.
Galley on a ship.
The galley. That did not occur.
No, yeah, and there was no explanation. It wasn't like, oh, you know, there's something's going on in the kitchen and like we can't take you back there. It literally just didn't happen. And it was almost like they were just hoping nobody would ask about that. So I don't know if we needed to ask or say like, hey, where's the galley tour? But it was pretty evident we were not getting a galley tour.
Nope. So we had a champagne toast with the other couples, met the chef, and then from there we're escorted up to Fine Cut Steakhouse. One of the things that I found a little odd was you were actually just essentially in the dining room in like a little like enclave within the dining room. So there was no door. You heard all of the flair going on at the martini bar, the light show, the music. So it was a little bit hard to hear the chef because essentially they bring out every single course and give you a description of what you're actually going to eat. And it was very, very difficult to hear because it was a little bit on the loud side.
Yeah, and the chefs were very soft-spoken. And we were right at the end of the table. And something too with this ship in particular, actually right now we're shooting this down in the martini bar. When you're here with the live music, it's actually not as loud as it is in the other parts. They have these speakers and they pump the music in. So there's this confusion that loud equals like fun or energetic when it's actually not. For me, the atmosphere, it was okay, but it wasn't great.
So from that point forward, they introduced us to 5 different courses, everything from a fish to a meat, lovely appetizers, and a dessert. So I'd say portion-wise, I was very, very full at the end of the dining experience.
One of the things to keep in mind is that Daniel Boulud is a Michelin-star chef, right? He's a Michelin award-winning chef, right? And what the Michelin Guide is it's actually after the car company or the tire company Michelin used to go around and actually rate restaurants. It was a way to encourage people to drive more, to go across the country. So to get a Michelin star is like really, really hard. And I think one of his restaurants actually has 2 Michelin stars. I think the most you can get is 3 Michelin stars. We've had the privilege to be able to eat at a Michelin star restaurant in Las Vegas. And the food, the service, the ambiance, everything is thought of and put together. It's definitely an indulgence for us, but it kind of set the bar. So if you're coming into this though, expecting like, hey, this is gonna be Michelin star level, look, it's gonna be very good meal. It's not, would you agree?
I agree. I think it was very nice, but again, comparing to our experience that we had in Las Vegas, which we'll give a shout out, is Picasso Restaurant. Phenomenal, everything from start to finish. I just feel like this experience on Celebrity Apex wasn't quite at that same level.
So unfortunately, it kind of missed the mark, but again, even when you're paying $300 extra, if you were to go to a Michelin star restaurant, like especially nowadays, you're probably gonna double that. I mean, some of these Michelin star restaurants, you're probably looking at somewhere between $700 to $1,000 for a couple for one night out. And that's just the food. That usually does, we're not even talking the alcohol or tip or gratuity. I would call this Michelin light.
Yes.
Which is like, this is like the intro level, Michelin. So if you're, really expecting that, you're not going to get, but you are going to get good food. You're going to get good conversation. Well, hopefully, and that's the other thing. It is a little bit of a dice gamble because you don't know who you're going to be sitting with. So unless you book this, I think it was accommodate 4 couples.
Correct.
So unless you're with 3 other couples and you're all going to book this together, it's like life is like a box of chocolates. You don't know where to get. We had a great group of people. They
Fantastic. They really made the evening.
I guess the big question is now, Colleen, is it worth it? Would you recommend the chef's table on Celebrity Apex?
I don't know if I would. I'm gonna say no, to be honest. I think it was very nice. I think the presentation of the food was lovely. It just didn't hit the mark for me, just for the entire package and experience, as far as like, someone showing up late to greet us, not getting the full tour of the galley, and then the food was good, but I would not say my mind was blown.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. So this for me would be, on this particular ship, would be a pass. It could be different on other ships, so again, you always have to keep that in mind. Unfortunately, this missed the mark. Again, it wasn't like a horrible experience.
No.
One thing I do want to throw in too is it's supposed to be like a 2-hour sitting, which is a good amount of time. I mean, for us, we're like hour and a half types of people. We like kind of slow. This was like a 3-hour event. By the time we got up to the table, it was 7 o'clock. We got back to the room, and Colleen's like, "I'm exhausted," and I'm like, "Why? What?" And it was 10 o'clock at night. So it's going to take up a good chunk of your evening. Like, you're not going to really have any opportunity to do anything else, shows or anything. I mean, it not being on chic night, which if it's going to be evening attire, they should really coordinate that with chic night. Not a port day either, because again, we were out in the port all day. So I think that again, there's just a lot of little details that they need to think through a little bit more. And then the time. So if it was a 2-hour event, I would definitely prefer it to be at like 8 o'clock, like an 8 to 10, and just really kind of keep to that 2-hour time frame. I guess that's a long way of saying, again, no. I would pass. I would do something else on the ship, and we're gonna have a lot of other navigate the plates, that we're going to cover some other great venues here. So you have plenty of options here, if it's not the chef's table.
Another item I want to bring up too is that they did offer a wine pairing to accompany the meal, which was an additional $60. And for Nate and I, we had actually upgraded just to the premium package.
Yeah, the premium package, yep.
And from there, we just passed on the pairing, and they just kept bringing wine. And
I mean, that's the thing. Again, it's not that we can't afford to pay for the wine pairing. It's like, why are we paying for the wine pairing? Why is it just not included in the price? You're already paying for dinner technically. Now you're paying an extra $300 for this meal, and then now they're like, oh, if you want, and you've also now paid extra for the premium drink package per day. And it's like, at some point, it's like, yeah, time out, Celebrity. Like, you just got to stop. Like, just throw it in there. If you've had a different experience, let us know. Or if you have a chef's table on another ship or another cruise line that you'd like to tell other people about, please put it down in the comments.
So if you like this video, navigators, please consider subscribing, hit that like button, and let us know your feedback, because we are foodies for sure, and we love a great dining experience.
And we thank you for watching, and remember,
navigate your world.